This week on Talking Pictures with Neil Rosen, we'll look at the new musical The Prom with Nicole Kidman, Kerry Washington, and Meryl Streep. The drama Nomadland, starring Frances McDormand. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, featuring Viola Davis and the late Chadwick Boseman. And Soul, the latest animated feature from Pixar. Plus, our picks of the best movies of the year. We've got all that and many more movie picks coming up. I'm Neil Rosen. Welcome to Talking Pictures. It's our monthly Critic Roundtable show where we debate what's worth watching and what's not when it comes to new releases, hidden gems, and Hollywood classics. We know that most of the movie theaters are still closed and you're probably craving some entertainment. So along with my panel who are all streaming from home, we have plenty of movies and TV series for you to watch at home. Joining me are Bill McCuddy from Gold Derby. Hey there, Bill.
Hi, Neil. Yes, you're right.
Perry Nemiroff from Collider. Hey, Perry.
Hi, happy to be back. Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays to you. And Mike Sargent from WBAI. Hey there, Mike.
I'm beaming in.
Well, let's start out with a look at several new films that are available either on demand or on streaming services, beginning with a new big-budget musical called The Prom. Let's take a look at a clip.
Was my heart pounding? I won't say no. This life without you was no way, no. And suddenly you happened and turned my life around entirely. And that's 'cause you happened. And look what happened to me. So go to prom with me, shall we?
And no more hiding how we feel anymore. I won't hide if you're by my side. Now that the prom is back on track. And once we walk into the gym hand in hand, it's pretty obvious there's no going back, and that's a promise.
Bill, tell us about The Prom.
Well, as you can see, it's subtle. That's Ryan Murphy's signature. He's behind this thing. It's glitzy, it's glamoury, and its gaiety is what brings Broadway to Indiana, so the young girl can go to a prom with her girlfriend. As you see, there's no lack of big names in this thing. Nicole Kidman, Meryl Streep, who we've always known likes to sing, Keegan-Michael Key, who's really good as the principal, and a cast of all-stars. Listen, here's the bottom line. This is a Netflix project. It wasn't inexpensive, as you pointed out. It looks great. The first 10 minutes are kind of obnoxious when they're on Broadway and they're in a failing Broadway show. But as soon as they go to Indiana, this thing really kicks into gear. It's a musical. You won't hum any of the songs when it's all done. It's based on a short-lived Broadway run of the same title. And I think it's really a home run here, especially at the holidays. I really enjoyed The Prom, and I'd like to go with it again.
Oh, God. Well, I couldn't disagree more, but I'll get to my opinion in a minute. Let me hear from Mike. What's your opinion on this thing?
Well, I never saw the Broadway show, and I didn't know anything about the premise. As you know, I never watched trailers or anything. I just want the storyteller to take me there. I enjoyed it. I thought it was exuberant. I thought it was fun. I thought if you love Broadway, this is definitely for you. It's full of corn, but it's about corn. So I liked it, and I thought that it's definitely something that'll pick up your spirits for the holiday.
Perry?
I think Bill kind of nailed it when you were assessing the beginning of the movie, because it took me a little while to get into that cheesy, heightened nature of it. But once I did, I was really fully consumed by the color and energy. And I love those musical numbers. I think my favorite might have been Love Thy Neighbor, the one that Andrew Rannells does. He's incredible. And the whole cast here is great, but I was so surprised how much Ariana DeBose, who plays Alyssa Green, makes with her role, because technically she's a supporting character, but has one of the most significant arcs for her character, and she still pulls it off even with limited screen time.
Boy, that's great. I'm really glad everybody loves this, because it really is a lot of fun, and I think you'll just really enjoy it.
Okay, I hated this. I mean, what is this? Footloose? There's no dancing in this town. I mean, we won't have a lesbian couple come to the prom. I mean, look, aside from the out-of-date premise, The only positive things I could say about this is that Joe Ellen Pellman, as the lead, she does a nice job. Other than that, the script is abysmal, bad writing. Ryan Murphy, who directed this, these over-the-top, big, brassy musical numbers where he throws everything in but the kitchen sink are unwatchable. The dialogue is terrible. I didn't care about any of the characters at all. James Corden, he's doing Cats, now he's doing this. He's got to pick better movies. I think Meryl Streep, that part would have been better by Patti LuPone, but I don't even think she could have saved the thing. This was painful to sit through. I absolutely detested this movie. So there you go. Let's move on. Perry, tell us about Nomadland.
Well, hopefully we switch gears for you with this one, Neil, because this is now one of my favorite movies of the year. The movie stars Frances McDormand as Fern, and she is a woman who chooses to live her life on the road in a van as a modern day nomad. And if you are someone who likes a movie that completely transports you into a different way of living, then this is the movie for you. It probably goes without saying that Frances McDormand is incredible in this movie, but it would not have worked if it wasn't for director Chloe Zhao, who also wrote the screenplay, adapted it, and on top of that, she edited the movie. And her light touch on the camera just really ups the atmosphere and gives it a quality where you almost forget that you're watching a movie and not living Fern's story. And that is quite the accomplishment in my book.
Mike?
Well, I agree. There's a quality to it where you feel you're just sort of watching it unfold. You're watching somebody's life, almost like a documentary. You're a fly on the wall, but you're a lot more engaged than any fly would be. And I agree with you, Perry. Frances McDormand is great. I do give a lot of credit to the director, but it takes you and you have to decide you're going to just surrender to its pacing, its sort of non-narrative format, and just let it go.
Bill?
Well, I can't wait for you to dump all over this thing, Neil, but I'm going to tell you that not only do I think Frances McDormand is great in this, I think we're looking at what is probably the Oscar-winning performance of the year. She is an actor's actor. She's not a movie star. She doesn't look like one in this thing. She lives the life of this woman on the road. It's a very timely film in terms of people out of work. It gives us a fascinating look at how Amazon works behind the scenes, just as a little side bonus. The great David Strathairn is also in this thing. He doesn't work that often, and he's really wonderful here. All the performances, many of which are not non-actors that they just met on the road making this thing to cast, are all first rate, and it's a little long, and I can see where you might think it's a little draggy, but it dragged me right into the story, and I think it's easily one of the 10 best movies of the year.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I agree with Mike. It is slow paced, but it's really about the mood and it's a character study. And I give credit to the writer director for casting real life nomads with no acting experience in this particular thing. But this is really Frances McDormand's, time to shine. And I think she's a shoo-in for an Oscar nomination. I think she does a terrific job. And I think the movie shines a light on a group of people that are rarely seen before on screen. I recommend this, and this is definitely an Oscar-bound film. All right, moving on. A movie that I thought would be an Oscar-bound film, and maybe it will be, but I have some distinct things to say. Something called Mank.
Mankiewicz, Herman Mankiewicz, New York playwright and drama critic, turned humble screenwriter, Mr. Hearst. This is a business where the buyer gets nothing for his money but a memory. What he bought still belongs to the man who sold it. That's the real magic of the movies. Thunder, lightning, blood, fire, religion.
Help! Someone save me!
All in one film. That's director proof. That's why I always want Mank around.
Bill.
Well, if you're as big a fan as I am of Citizen Kane and believe it's one of the best movies ever made, even after all these years, you'll be fascinated by the guy, Herman Mankiewicz, who actually wrote the screenplay for it. David Fincher, the great director, was fascinated enough to take on this project. He's been wanting to make it for a long time. And I have to say at the outset, it's the most un-Fincher movie you could ever imagine, because Mankiewicz is a drunk but lovable screenwriter who is hired by Orson Welles, has a car accident, goes out into the desert, and starts writing what's called The American, and then becomes Citizen Kane. This all sounds great. For cinephiles, it's like, man, this is inside baseball, but you're practically sitting inside a baseball watching it. I was sent the link. I stopped about 5 or 6 times during the movie. I wasn't that engaged in it, even though I think Gary Oldman gives a great performance. So let me just say, let's address the elephant in the room. It's Mank, and Mank stank. I'm sorry. I expected a lot more than I got. I was disappointed, and this plays more like a 2-hour plus DVD extra for the movie Citizen Kane. Go watch that instead.
Perry?
Yeah, this was more of an I admire it more than I like it kind of movie. I was very curious to get this side of the story told this way from Fincher, of all people, but it was kind of something that I was just interested in following along. But again, like you said, Bill, that doesn't necessarily mean I was engaging with the material and the characters. The only one who came close and probably achieved it in some respects to actually making me feel something was Amanda Seyfried as Marion Davies. She just, every single time she was on screen, I got like sucked into her performance, whether it was the thing she was saying and the value of it, or just sitting there and watching her read the room. You could always see the wheels in her head turning, and she was just a very perceptive character, and I was always more concerned about what she was thinking than anyone else.
Mike?
I have to agree and disagree with you, Bill. It is a Fincher film, and the attention to detail is so like extreme. The fades, it's shot in black and white, and the fades and the dissolves, they're not quite smooth, just like it was because it was chemical back in the old days. The lettering, the way scenes are paced, when a scene is ending and the lights go down or it fades, you almost feel like the lights went down in the room. So he does a lot of things to create atmosphere, and I did feel I was there. But I do have to agree. I think you should watch Citizen Kane and then maybe watch this in 5 parts, like Bill did.
Well,
I mean, he's aping Wells. So
he is.
his own
Yeah.
style. I don't buy that.
Listen, I thought I was really looking forward to this movie. Not only have I seen Citizen Kane, I've seen Citizen Kane dozens of times. It's a brilliant movie. Behind the scenes, the writing of Citizen Kane on paper sounded like it would be a good idea. Like Bill, it took me several installments to get through this. It was so boring. The characters, nobody talks like this. Whoever wrote the screenplay, yes, they're writers and they write well, but they're talking like they're writing, and I thought that was very unrealistic. But I was very bored with this particular movie. It was a slog to sit through. If you want to really see something about the making of Citizen Kane, a movie, there was an HBO film from 1999 called RKO 281 with Liev Schreiber playing Orson Welles, and Malkovich plays Herman Mankiewicz, and Melanie Griffith plays Marion Davies. And if you could find it, it's very hard to find, but it's probably streaming somewhere. That's a great behind-the-scenes look at how they made Citizen Kane. This movie is just like, it is torturous to sit through, and it's really disappointing because you had so much great stuff to work with. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is a movie adaptation of August Wilson's acclaimed stage play that takes place in a Chicago recording studio in the 1920s. Let's take a look.
Hey, Daddy! Please come home to me. Hey! Oh, yeah! I'm on my way. Brothers, I can
Mike, tell us about Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, as you said, is written by August Wilson. It's part of his Pittsburgh Cycle, which is one of a series of plays he wrote that take place here in America and really trace the roots of African-American experience here. Denzel Washington has made a deal to make all 10 of August Wilson's plays, and this is the second one to be done. Viola Davis is amazing as Ma Rainey. She is essentially the mother of the blues.
When I got there, they began to say.
The whole film takes place in a recording studio in the 1920s in Chicago, where she and a band featuring an ambitious trumpeter named Levy, played by Chadwick Boseman, in an amazing performance. It unfortunately is going to be remembered as his last performance, but it's also fortunate because it's a hell of a performance, and I think he's a lock for Best Supporting Actor.
Perry.
I almost can't find the words to describe how good Chadwick Boseman and Viola Davis are in this movie. With Bozeman in particular, Levy is kind of a powder keg of a character that kept me on my toes from start to finish. And Bozeman justifies every single beat of that character's journey. And when it came to Ma, it almost had the same effect on me in my living room as she does on the characters in the room with her, where I caught myself, feeling like I was afraid to breathe or make a move to disappoint Ma Rainey. And when I was done watching the movie, between the two of them and how just tense it all was, I took a breath and realized how exhausted I was. And I mean exhausted in a very good way as a compliment for the movie.
Bill.
Well, let's not forget this was a stage play, as we've said, so it has a stagey claustrophobia to it. I didn't realize going in, because I didn't see it on stage, that it was all in this one particular room, as opposed to, let's say, Fences, which Denzel also starred and produced, and that opened up and was a little more cinematic than this is. Hey, we don't have Broadway right now, so this is fine. It's definitely worth watching, and as you guys have pointed out, I think Chadwick Boseman is a slam dunk posthumously if they properly put him up as best supporting actor, even though he has more screen time than just about anyone else in the movie.
Even though it takes place in 1927, there's so many lessons that can be taken away from this from today. I saw this when it was on stage. I think this is a phenomenal movie adaptation. Viola Davis, brilliant. But Chadwick Boseman, the late Chadwick Boseman, incredible. I mean, there's several monologues that he delivers. One in particular about a gang rape that he witnessed when he was a child that just completely blew me away. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, highly recommended. One of the best films of the year. Switching gears in a completely different direction, new from Pixar is the movie Soul. Perry, tell us about that.
This one is the latest from my favorite animation studio. I was so pumped for this one. It is about a man named Joe who dreams of being a jazz musician. And then he finally gets his big break, but immediately after, he kind of dies in a sense. He basically turns into a soul, and his soul goes to a place called the Great Before. And what Joe has to do in soul form is figure out how to get back to his body on Earth without going to the great beyond. Back when the movie Inside Out came out, I was wondering nonstop, how could Pixar possibly anthropomorphize human emotions? And they pulled it off. I went through the same train of thought on this one. How are they possibly going to tell a story about a human soul? They do it extremely well. And one of my favorite things about what they're doing at Pixar right now in general is just how ambitious they are as far as tackling some really major questions and doing so in a way that, one, is entertaining for both kids and adults, but two, also leaves both kids and adults something meaningful to hang on to after the movie's over.
Bill?
This isn't the best Pixar movie ever. It's a solid B+. But one of the things I can say that's interesting is the leads, Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey, are almost unrecognizable. So you are transformed into this world, which
Well, they're animated. Of course, they're unrecognizable.
No, I mean, you don't, their voices match their characters on the screen rather than I hear Tina Fey here all the time or I hear Jamie Foxx all the time. I thought that was one of the things it did well. I wasn't in love with the other world that they're sort of trapped in until they can come back. But there's a lot to like about this film. It's great for the whole family, and I wholeheartedly recommend it.
Mike?
Soul, I thought, like everybody else said, it's not the best Pixar movie. I did appreciate the fact that it's the first one with an African-American lead. And I do appreciate the fact that they brought in Kemp Powers to help, let's just say, make it a little more authentically Black, and his contributions were so great. They made him a co-director, and now he's the first African-American to co-direct a Pixar film. So I liked it. I thought that all the emphasis on the music and how powerful it is was great, but the message that you should enjoy your life and not judge it, I like that probably best of all.
Let's start with the animation by Pixar. They keep upping their game. The scenes of New York City on the subway, the stores, the crowded streets pre-pandemic, it's just amazing to watch. I mean, I cannot believe the attention to detail. And when Jamie Foxx's character plays the piano and his fingers glide over that keyboard, the attention to detail in terms of the way the piano is being played is really breathtaking. Listen, this is really heady stuff. The guy who co-directed and co-wrote this, Pete Docter, as you said, Perry, Inside Out, he wrote and directed Inside Out, and he also did the movie Up. You know what I'm always talking about, is it good for adults and kids? I think a lot of this is going to go, over kids' heads, but they're going to, really fall in love with the Tina Fey. Yes, do nod. You'll fall in love with the Tina Fey character called 22. It's a brilliant movie. I can't believe that they greenlighted something as metaphysical as this, but you got to give Pixar and Disney credit for doing something like that. Highly recommended. Another classic from the Pixar studios. All right, let's talk about something called Paint. Paint, Mike.
Paint is a new movie from writer-director Michael Walker. It's about three friends from art school who essentially struggle to start their careers and their life in New York City, in the New York City art world. And it's a little soapy. There are all kinds of relationships. One artist in particular is trying to, let's just say, delve into his dark side and maybe resolve his demons. Another artist is pretty much squatting somewhere, but he's very good with women, so he gets opportunities and squanders them. And then another character, well, she's naive but likable. We've all met her. Now, I went to art school, so I definitely get it. I knew all these characters, but unfortunately, I didn't like any of them enough to really appreciate the movie as much as I wanted to. As someone who went to art high school and art college and have many friends who are painters and artists, I like the attention to detail as to how the art world is portrayed.
Perry?
Yeah, this one took some getting used to for me. I know they make a joke of it in the movie, but I was really put off by the fact that it really is a lot of whining from a place of privilege, and that contributed to making all of these main players quite unlikable. But I did slip into this zone where at least I was into certain scenes. Like, I wanted to see what the conclusion was. I didn't care what the conclusion was, and I wasn't rooting for any of the characters, but I was interested in just seeing it through just to know what the ending was. So I guess that's a little plus as far as engagement value goes, but I don't know if I could fully recommend this one.
Interesting. Bill?
None of these artists are any good. No one has said that. I've just put this together, and it's going to open in a gallery downtown, and this is better than anything in that movie. Don't see this. It's not good.
I don't agree with you. I like this. It's a dark comedy. It shines a light on a world that we rarely see and how hard it is for these young people who are, who've just graduated from art school and they're out a couple of years, and how competitive that business is. And it's not really about the art. It's really about the name. There's a lot of romantic entanglements that are kind of bizarre that happen in this. I like the characters. And is this a great movie? No, it's not a great movie, but stuck at home in a pandemic, as an indie, I think this is, no, I don't think I'm wrong. I think this is a good movie. It's not a great movie, but it's a good movie. And stop making me laugh. I think the newcomer young actors do a good job, and I would recommend Paint.
What the hell is going on with you?
What? It got a little out of hand.
You think?
Sorry.
The pain is real. Why can't you understand that?
It doesn't matter. Nothing matters, right? Those are your words.
No, pain matters. What we do to other people matters. Being a source of terror is not fun, okay? It's not fulfilling. I know this from experience. It doesn't matter that everything resets and people don't remember. We remember. We have to deal with the things that we do.
Oh my God, cry me a river, Niles. You were never gonna deal with him. I actually did you a favor.
That was a clip from Palm Springs. It's Perry Nemiroff's favorite movie of the year, as we go around the panel with our personal favorite films or TV series of 2020. Perry.
So it is one of my favorites of the year. It was also my favorite from the Sundance Film Festival. It is streaming on Hulu right now, and it stars Andy Samberg and Kristen Milioti as two individuals who get stuck in a time loop. I bring up Sundance because the world was a very different place back in January. I watched the movie and it struck a chord with me in one way then. Then when the movie hits Hulu over the summer, we're all in lockdown and it takes on a whole new meaning. So the fact that I have this movie that can evolve depending on what's going on in the world and where I'm at in my life and still have great value and meaning for me to take with me after watching it, that is a very special accomplishment.
That is a fun movie, Perry. It's like Groundhog Day, but that repeats itself too, so who cares? I like your pick. Mike, what's your pick?
Well, my pick, I say best to be a favorite. I won't say it's the best, but it was one of my favorites. It's a movie called My Spy. It's probably one of my favorites because it is the last film I saw in the theater, and it's a film that I went in with such low expectations that I was really surprised how much I enjoyed it. It's about Dave Bautista, who plays a CIA operative who has to surveil a single mom and her daughter, played by Chloe Coleman, and he's got an assistant played by Kristen Shaw, who I think is pretty hilarious. I just really enjoyed this movie, and I did not expect to. So that's why it's one of my favorites of the year.
Bill, what's your favorite of the year?
Well, first I have to say, I think My Spy is the only thing I haven't seen, so I will watch it. Now, mine is what I tell everyone is the cure for the pandemic, and it's a Netflix series called Money Heist. This thing is a Spanish soap opera meets heist movie. That's a good thing on all sides. A professor plots the robbery of a Madrid treasury. He puts a wild band of people together, and you think this is a smash and grab that's only going to last 5 or 10 minutes. It goes for months and months, and it turns out that was the idea the whole time. There are like 3 seasons of this thing. It has a great cliffhanger ending. I think they're going to come back and make some more of it, but in the meantime, enjoy Money Heist.
Well, my favorite thing this year was a toss-up between The Queen's Gambit and Normal People, and since most people know about the former, I'll talk about the latter. Normal People was a brilliant limited series on Hulu. It's an absorbing, involving look at the on-again, off-again romance of a young couple from different economic backgrounds in Ireland. A great adaptation of Sally Rooney's best-selling novel. It's a fascinating, multi-layered look at the complexities of a relationship. Also drawing me in was the rarity of these two people who are perfect for each other in every way, but never fully realize it. The acting by the 2 stars, Daisy Edgar-Jones and Paul Mescal, is superb, and they elevate the already terrific material to a higher level. I usually don't like sex scenes in movies. I find them gratuitous and not necessary, but this is that rare instance where the intimate scenes between this couple are so integral to the understanding of their relationship. Truly an absorbing, remarkable achievement. I urge you to watch this. It's realistic, smart, moving, heartbreaking, and at times utterly captivating. Normal People on Hulu. Well, that's all the time we have. With any luck, we've given you some movies and TV shows to watch to help pass the time. I want to thank Bill McCuddy, Perry Nemiroff, and Mike Sargent. Stay well. I'm Neil Rosen. Join us next time on Talking Pictures.